Minecraft Live 2024 just happened, and within that live stream, there was a ton of new stuff that's being added to the game revealed. There was cool stuff like bundles and stuff about the movie, but the main thing that got my attention was the new biome, and the mob. The biome that was added is called the Pale Garden, and the mob is called the Creaking. I will say that this whole update reminds me of the update that added the Warden. I think it was the Wild update, I don't really remember, but I'll get into my thoughts on all that later on in this video. For now, let's talk about what the Pale Garden even is. So basically, for those of you who don't know, Mojang just revealed the newest biome in the game, and it is known as the Pale Garden, and is a pretty unique biome within the game. This biome is eerily creepy and obviously very different from every other biome in the game. The Pale Garden is a forest biome with a gray tone and hanging moss everywhere. The trees also drop a new type of white wood, which I'm really excited for because it looks so clean and good, and I can imagine a ton of builds I'd like to use the wood in. This biome is also one of the closest things we have to horror elements within Minecraft. During the daytime, it may seem almost peaceful and serene, but nighttime is when everything starts to happen within the biome. Obviously mobs will spawn during nighttime, but this update introduced a very specific mob that is special to this biome. This mob is known as the Creaking. The Creaking is an incredibly interesting mob in my opinion. For the sake of this video, whenever I talk about the Creaking, I'm gonna say Creaking so that I don't have to say the every time. I mean, everyone says Warden and not the Warden, so don't get mad at me in the comments for it. Creakings are mobs that work similarly to the Boos in Mario. They don't come towards you unless you look away from them. They also have this very asymmetrical look that can almost make you feel uneasy. They look like mini trees and have a very woodsy aesthetic. They have glowing eyes that pop out at nighttime, which is perfect because they only spawn at nighttime. The biome also pairs very well with these guys because the hanging moss from the trees can make you feel trapped within the forest and you can't exactly see what's always in front of you. One of the most unique things about the Creakings is that they can't be directly damaged by the player. For instance, if you try to hit the Creaking with a sword, it won't be affected, but it will emit a trail looking thing that will lead you to its heart. The Creaking heart is a block that keeps the mob alive and controls them. Once you break the heart, you can also destroy the mob. So it turns into a race to destroy the block before the Creaking can get you. I find this to be a really cool feature that spices up the game. Although this whole mob does sort of remind me of another mob that was added fairly recently, I think the Creaking is pretty similar to the Warden and the Deep Dark biome as a whole. So this whole update and biome reminds me of when the Deep Dark and Warden were added. The first and most obvious comparison is the fact that both places have obvious horror elements and are meant to be uneasy and scary places. The mobs that reside in these biomes are also similar because they chase the player and can't be easily killed directly. I know you technically can damage and defeat the Warden physically, but it's borderline impossible unless you're cheating, since the Warden takes you out almost instantly if he finds you. The Creakings aren't as powerful as the Warden, but they introduce a unique challenge because of the fact that a direct hit to them won't damage them at all. Both of these places and mobs introduce unique gameplay mechanics due to these factors. The last thing I want to touch on for this comparison is the fact that there's not really good loot in either of these biomes. To my knowledge, the Pale Garden doesn't really give the player anything special aside from the new blocks it introduced. And the Deep Dark does have okay loot, but it's all loot that you can get via safer methods, which means there's no real point in dealing with the Warden when you can get your stuff more easily elsewhere. These are both two unique and cool updates, but I just wanted to talk about how they seem similar to me. This video was just me talking about my thoughts and feelings about the new update, but more specifically, the Pale Garden and the Creaking. I could have talked about the other stuff like bundles, but I don't think there's much to talk about when it comes to that other stuff. It's cool and I'm glad it's in the game, but it's just kind of minor things. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you could subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and let me know your thoughts about the update down in the comments below. I try to reply to all the comments, so if you comment down below, there's a high chance that I will respond to it. But that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed and have a great day.